Alright, hello everyone, my name is Matt, and I was going through YouTube and I didn't find any particularly good Subnautica tutorial videos, so I decided to go through and do a playthrough slash tutorial myself. So let's jump right in. So this is Subnautica. It is still in early access, but you can pick it up. I got this copy on Steam. I really recommend it. It is a fantastic game, and as you can see from some of my playthroughs, I have quite a few hours logged. But you have your standard start screen, load old game, start a new game, options, which you have a couple of options, but nothing really you need to mess with at this point. But let's just jump in, start a new game. So these are the start games that you have the option of, and gives you the very basics of it. Survival, this is your kind of standard medium difficulty one, where it's worry about how much oxygen you're using if you're diving. Worry about health, so you can get hurt by, somebody that's trying to bite your leg off, and then food and water. Freedom, it's pretty much easy mode, where you only have to worry about oxygen and if something bites you, no hunger or thirst. Hardcore, this one is very, very difficult, so only do this after you have some experience at it. You only have one life, so if you, run out of oxygen and, well, that's it. Doesn't matter if you have 50 hours logged, if you die once, you're done. And since it doesn't give you the oxygen alerts, because in the standard game, it gives you a 30-second warning and a 10-second warning of, hey, you're almost out of oxygen, you don't get those anymore, so it's real easy to get distracted by something and just die. And then creative mode, which everything is free, you have no resources, no food, no oxygen, you can mess around and do whatever you want. So for this one, we're going to be doing survival mode, which is going to unlock everything, without having to worry about the permadeath. Alright, and there's a short loading video, so here it is.
Attention. Hull failure imminent. All personnel abandon ship.
Launching in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, here we are into the game. So in the bottom left, you'll see our oxygen meter, our health, our food, and our water. So if you want to take a look at your inventory, you hit tab.
Attention. Detecting increased local radiation levels. Trend is consistent with ongoing degradation of the Aurora's dark matter drive core due to damage sustained during collision. Continuing to monitor.
Alright, so that's Betsy, or at least that's what I call her. She doesn't have an official name. But this is our inventory. Right now we have absolutely nothing. We have, no rebreathers or suits or fins or anything. These are our electronic spots, and you can get things like a compass, which are so incredibly useful. Then we have our blueprints. This is all the stuff we can make at the moment. As we find more materials, we'll unlock more blueprints, and we also have they're called fragments. They're sections of more advanced technology that we can scan. This is our voice log. It's more like backstory stuff. Think of it as a journal.
The new message has arrived.
Nope. Yeah, don't worry about that. It's not actually a message. But what you... Let me get rid of that.
Playing message.
It's a test thing that they still have going on there. So if I hit F11, that takes a screenshot. And I can go to the photo album. Hello? Oh, there it is. And one of the cool things is later you can, after you build your underwater sea base, or above water, I suppose technically, if you want, you can put this in a picture frame, so any of these that you want. And then data, so this is information that you can go through on, the kind of information, or kind of stuff that you have, another kind of form of the journal. But it gives you information on, plants and sea life and equipment and all that. So, if you guys pick up the game, you're welcome to go through and read all this. But one of the things that everybody misses almost universally,
The new message has arrived.
they still have this testing thing. It's a little bit annoying.
Caution. Continued degradation of the Aurora's drive core may cause a quantum detonation. Calculating risk assessment. Death by malnourishment, 7%.
Yeah, she goes through and calculates how I'm gonna die.
11%. By exposure to radioactive crash site materials, 19%. If the drive core is breached, probability of death increases to 65%.
Alright, so this is the stuff in your storage compartment. You have a couple of blocks of food here and a couple of small waters here. So these are useful, but I wouldn't use them in the beginning unless you're really desperate for food and water. These are flares. I really don't find them to be particularly useful. I'd much rather be able to take them apart for the crash powder inside, but unable to do that. We have some power cells in here that are self-recharging, but you can't take those out or do anything with those right now. It gives you power to your escape pod, which powers your fabricator. So I believe that's everything in here. Oh, actually, I should probably talk about the fabricator itself, huh? So resources, these are all of our basic materials. So these are basic elements, more or less. So anything you want to build, it tells you what's in here. Like a lead plate, you need 2 batteries. More advanced materials, these are only used in 1 item so far, and these are a little tricky to get, so don't worry about these just now. And then our electronics. It's copper, battery, power cells. This is the stuff that you need to build some of the more advanced tools and submarines and things. So under sustenance, if you look now, if I click on it, that's the only thing it shows is 1 water. So disinfected water, it says we need bleach. So if we go up here, basic materials, bleach. We see that we need salt and a common coral sample. So let's go through and find a couple of those.
Warning. Local radiation readings exhibit characteristics consistent with total degradation of the Aurora's dark matter drive core. A quantum detonation will occur with a probability of 85.5%. Advise observing a 1 kilometer safety range.
Alright, so if you look in the bottom right when I'm close to this thing, that little icon shows up. It's right there. That shows up when you have something that you don't have any information on yet. So if I get close to this guy, I can see he's a Gary fish. Oh.
10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
And I can see that he is a Gary fish. Right now he's in my hand, but if I press 1, he goes into my inventory. But if I press 1 again, I take him out. That's the quick slots on the bottom of the screen. Just gonna pick up another fish here. This would be an air sac. But I need to find some salt. Now this will give you small little hints from time to time. It says break limestone. If you left click, you break through there, and now I got a piece of titanium. Oh, this is something that, again, a lot of people miss. Oh, darn it!
10 seconds of oxygen remaining suggest a quantum detonation has occurred in the Aurora's drive core. The central dark matter reactor will reach a supercritical state in T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, so that's a bad day for us. I'm gonna go inside because it's really loud out here.
Reading message.
So now, if I go into the fabricator, it says they're analyzed, but it'll say that a lot. That's still a work in progress. Now I have other options here. This is under the same food thing that we only had water before, but now that I picked up some fish, oh, I can cook this Gary fish. Cool. And then if I right-click, closes that, and then open in my inventory, we now have a cooked Gary fish, will give us 13 food and 5 water. So I'm going to go through and eat that right now. But we are still in pretty rough shape. So I'm actually going to go and sustenance. One of the things about air sacs is you have the option of cooking it Or you can make this one into water. Instead of using bleach, you can turn this one into a small water by itself. If you have the option, though, it's better to use the bleach one. You can make as many as you want, but the bleach gives you a lot more water than the air sac does. But at this early point in the game, whatever you can get your hands on. Right-click to exit that, open my inventory, and I'm going to drink that. Alright. Another creature I haven't run into yet, but you can't do anything with these guys yet. Was reading earlier in the dev notes that those will be able to like take things out of your hands. Alright, so that was a piece of quartz. Shiny and sparkly. Ah! This is what we need. This is metal salvage. Again, left click to pick up. Yes, what I was starting to say earlier is...
Emergency.
Yes.
Seconds of
Stand by.
oxygen remaining.
If you use the space button, your space is to go up, so if you need to surface really quick, just hold space. And the C button, that's in C for Charlie, is what you use to go down. So WASD to move around, and if I point up and I swim forward with W, that will bring me up at the same... Sorry, I just ran into a creature that was a little scary. Those things will damage you, so staying away. So will those things... My goal is to try and avoid dying during this tutorial. Alright, so nighttime approaches. Doesn't actually change anything. It does make things darker. And some of the fish do kind of go to sleep. So if you need to go fishing, it's better to do it at night, because they're much easier to catch. Alright, now these are creepvine seed clusters. They are huge, though. They take up a bunch of space, but you will need them for a couple of materials. So I'm going to grab 6 of them right now. Yes, cool. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fit all those. I'm also going
Emergency.
to... Oh.
10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
Yep. Alright. Oh boy. I cut this one way too close. Swim, 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 swim! Oh, this is it! This is it, guys! We're dead! We're dead! Wow, I think that's the closest I have ever come to dying on this, by, lack of oxygen. I mean, without actually dying. So yeah, that's the nearly dying mechanic from oxygen loss. As soon as you get down to 0, your screen starts to go black immediately, and if it goes completely black, you're dead. So I was probably within, a 1/10 of a second of dead right there. So you do not have any screw around time on oxygen.
New creature discovered.
Alright, I'm gonna go into here, cook this hoverfish. Yum. Right click to exit, open my inventory. And this gives me 23 and 3. That's perfect. Alright. Now that we have all these raw resources, I'm going to jump into the fabricator. Resources. Basic materials. And now I have a whole bunch of stuff unlocked that I can make. So I can make lubricant out of those giant yellow seeds. Glass out of the quartz. Silicon rubber out of the seeds. And the titanium. Now this is going to break those big metal pieces up. These right here. Into 4 titanium each. So those are particularly useful, and the raw resource doesn't have any value, so it's always good to break it down. And if you look as I'm doing this, the power is going down. This is the total power we have in our pod. This is how much we have, and since these are self-recharging power cells, this will slowly go up by itself. Don't click on the titanium ingot until you know you need one of these, because then you can't use the titanium except as an ingot. So I'm going to make some silicon rubber. And again, that's out of the giant seeds. And now we get one of the most useful things. Tools. So this is under personnel, tools, and this is all of your possible tools. Now this is a scanner. You're going to need this later on to unlock blueprints. You're going to scan fragments where look at these little, I guess they're tan blocks for now. They're placeholders. And they're going to unlock more advanced technology. Flashlights, what you think it is. And we now have the stuff for a survival knife. And this is the titanium that we just got. And some silicon rubber, which we just got. So I'm going to make one of those. And this is something we can use to get more resources later. Air bladder is also useful. So I'm going to get one of those in a minute. So I need silicon rubber and an air sac. The rest of the stuff we don't need just yet. Although the welder is nice to have because it stops all this sparking going on over here. It also fixes stuff later on. Another thing that a lot of people miss is the habitat builder. This is what you need to actually build your bases. So if I exit out of here and I hit tab, a lot of people go over into blueprints and they'll click, okay, well I want a foundation. Let me just jump into here. So they swim down to the seafloor, open it up, and then start clicking on it. You realize, yeah, nothing's happening. Why can't I use this? That's because you need the builder tool. So if you build the builder tool and then you right click, it'll bring up a menu with all the things you can build. So we don't have the technology to build that just yet, but we will in, well, just a minute. Just gonna eat some fish while we're out here. And bring my knife up. And a lot of these things can be upgraded later, which is also particularly nice. So if you want to swing your knife, it's right-click. And one of the important things to note is these do have durability. Like right now, I'm at 99 durability. So if I start, whacking at rocks and stuff, I'm going to start breaking that. But you do need it to get certain resources. So right now, I have 4 of those. Here's some more titanium. I heard something.
Emergency. 10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
Yeah, those guys will chase you, so be careful when you're going near them. And their bites do a fair bit of damage. And we can't go over to the big ship. It's called the Aurora right now because there is a lot of radiation in the area, and that will bring your health down and eventually kill you. Alright, so I opened up basic materials, and now we have another one we just found, which is mesh fiber, which we got from the 2 creepvine samples, which is the green thing we just chopped up with our knife. So as you find new materials in the world, you'll be able to, find new raw materials, which you'll be able to, open up new things later on. Like equipment, there's a thermometer right now, which we need a computer chip on, but if we find magnetite, which is hard to find, we only need, I believe it's 1 magnetite. Then we can build a compass, which is so nice to have. Beacons, if you're doing any serious exploring, I'd recommend making a beacon. Because that's, you leave it out in the world and it gives you a little pop-up of, hey, I'm over here, bing, 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 bing. So if you find, a section of hull or a particularly valuable resource, cache, or something like that, and you don't have the space for it, you can leave this there and find your way right back there, no problem. Gravisphere, really not particularly useful. It kind of sucks things to it. So if you put it in a spot, it'll suck some fish to it, but it's honestly easier just to go fishing. Waterproof locker, this is particularly nice, but we're not going to need this. So the next thing I'm going to build is the habitat builder, which I need a computer chip and a battery for. So computer chip, we need a whole bunch of stuff. So we already have a quartz. We need silver and table coral. So, I'm just going to empty a lot of this stuff into here. I'm actually going to make fiber mesh. Because that goes up from 8 spots to 1, so that's very useful space-wise. We don't really need any of that. I'm going to bring one of the flares with me just because. Was it table coral and silver, I believe? Just want to double check to make sure. Yep, table coral and silver. Alright. Here's our table coral right here. Now this stuff does grow back, but it takes a while. So you just slash this with your knife, pick up a couple of these. And there we go. Got a whole bunch of table coral. Now we need 2 for that recipe, so we could theoretically make 2 if we wanted to. But we don't need that. Oh. I think that's one of the other things I need to show you right there. And I'll swing back around too, because we need quartz for one of the other things. So here. And here. Alright, here it is. So this is a solar panel fragment. Now we can't do anything with this right now. We can't, pick it up or anything. We can cut at it, and I don't know if that's going to break it or not. But don't cut at these ever, just in case. But these are, if you look in the bottom right, we get that little analyzer button. I got a surface. But if you scan those...
10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
Yes. Okay. Yep, if you scan those, you'll be able to get more technology, and most of them require, like, the solar panel fragments. Where'd it go? I'm just gonna move this out of the weed so it's easier to find next time. There are a bunch of these, like, there's not just 2 solar panel fragments in this area, there's gonna be a whole bunch of them. But you need more than one to unlock just about everything. Alright, let's see. Ah, here we go. What do we got? We got some sandstone. There we go. There we go. That's our silver. It almost never goes that fast. There's a new fish. I'm gonna eat you. Because these are full of all kinds of stuff.
10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
Swim! There's an eye. Yikes! Alright, so, swimming along. I'll show that, I'm just gonna deploy the flare, but I'm gonna wait until nighttime to do that. Just a cooler look. Here's some sea creatures in the background. Alright. Basic materials. I'm gonna make a piece of glass out of those 2 quartz. And... cook that hoopfish. Because why not? I'm gonna go through, make some filtered water out of that air sac. Alright. Tools. What was it? Computer chip and a battery. So, we can make the computer chip now because we have those 2 table corals, which we just got, the silver and some quartz that we already had. So now we have computer chip in our inventory. Fantastic. So I'm going to eat that, drink that. We still have a bunch of resources here. Let's see what else we can build. Equipment. Ah, there we go. So, an O2 tank. This adds numbers to this. So right now we're at 45 out of 45. You can't get any lower than 45. That's your base, you know, holding your breath. But with this tank, we add 30 seconds of air. So if you watch it, we go from 45 to... we now have 75. Very, very cool. And you can, because right now I have 1 tank, you can get as many tanks as you want as long as it fits in here. So you could get 3, 6, 9, 12 tanks, theoretically, and stay down there for, you know, an hour. But that means you have no inventory space, and the more that you're holding, the slower you move. That's an important thing to note. And also the condition, as your condition goes down, like say you're at, you know, 5% health and 5% water, your character will walk very, very slowly. Alright, so I'm just going to pull 2 of those, because I do need that space. And make some silicon rubber. We don't need anything with that right now, but at some point we're going to need more silicon rubber. So I'm going to put that in there. Put a bunch of that in there. Alright, and we should be good. Alright, so the next thing we need for the builder tool is a battery. And if we go to resources, electronics, battery requires 2 acid mushrooms and 1 copper. Let me just check one more thing while we're down here. Oh, so we're going to need a battery for the scanner as well. So I'm actually going to need 2 batteries. So for 2 batteries, I'm going to need 4 acid mushrooms and 2 copper. So let's grab that. I'm going to grab these first. Here are the acid mushrooms. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Doesn't matter which sizes you grab, they're all the same. And then we need 2 copper, which are going to be in those little breakable sandstone things, except these ones are limestone. Be careful in caves, because stuff in here is scary, and occasionally run it across a... oh god, what do you call them? I don't know. I don't remember what you call them, but I'll let you guys know if I run into one. They're little explodey fish. They have a very distinctive sound when you get close to them. Oh, there we go. That's one of the things we need. Hopefully it's copper. There we go. That's 1 copper. Oh, that's a magma vent. I gotta go to the surface real quick. Alright. So, one of the things to note is that if you're down here, under the water, and your oxygen gets really low, and then you surface, don't immediately go back underwater, because it does take a moment for your oxygen to replenish. Alright, we can go a little bit of a ways into here, but not too deep. So if we go too deep, we will get hurt. Ah, bad, bad, bad. So yeah, be careful around these things. Come on, come on. Alright. What was that? Oh, that was a piece of silver? One of the plus sides is, of course, that you get some good resources from down here. So, some gold, very nice. So now, we just got some copper, some silver, and some gold. Some more silver. Fantastic.
Warning, 30 seconds
Alright,
of oxygen
I gotta
remaining.
surface. Oh dear. I may have pushed this one too hard. We may be dead. We may be dead. Come on, Magma Vent, push me faster! Might be okay.
Emergency.
Yep.
10 seconds of oxygen remaining.
Okay. There we go. Let me see if I can find... There it is. An air sac. I always think these things look really funny. Alright, so put him away. Take out my knife, just in case. So if you get anything that attacks you, you can, swing your blade at them and hurt them, or some of the really small creatures, you can kill them in one shot. Alright. Resources. What do we need to do? Electronics. Alright, so we need 2 batteries for what we need. And and feel free to have a piece of paper out if you need to write notes on what you need to grab. Sometimes if you go on some of these long missions, you're going to need, 20 items. Alright, here we go. So, habitat builder. And a scanner. Now, you don't really need the habitat builder at this point, but I like building bases ASAP. I don't think we need anything here just yet. Reinforced dive suit's nice to have, but that's it's pretty much an armored suit. That requires 2 synthetic fibers and a blueprint. But if we look at synthetic fibers and advanced materials, we need 2 benzenes and a fiber mesh. And benzene, we need blood oil, and that's too hard to get at this point in the game. It's too hard. Let's see, basic materials. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need. Thinking about grabbing another fuel tank. Oh, the dive reel. This is a fun little tool where you have... It's a long piece of rope, more or less. And forget it. I'm just going to build one. Creepvine sample 5. So 1, 2... You can eat the creepvine samples when they're fresh, but they rot very, very quickly. And don't eat too many of them at once, because that will... I'm not sure if it's poisoning or hurting, but both your food and your water will go down. So don't eat more than, say, 3 at once. Alright, and I just lost track of what I was doing, so let me go back to that. Dive reel, creepvine sample 5, so I need 3 more. So you won't be in the exact same spot as I am when you jump into the game, because the positioning of the life pod is random. So you may have to swim around a little bit to find these. Oh, what am I doing? I have a scanner. So if you look, there's that little spinning icon in the center that's showing you that, yeah, you haven't scanned this yet. So if you right-click, it's going to go through, and you get a percentage bar on the scanner. There we go. We now have information on the creepvine. Just grab a couple of these real quick. Yep, and eventually those break. Alright, there we go. That's all those we need. So if I go up here, now that we've scanned the creepvine, open my inventory with tab, and databank. Where is... here we go. Alien life forms. Flora. Creepvine. So now it gives you a little bit of a rundown about it. A little bit of information and, what you can do with it. You can eat it, you can make health kits with it, and you can build stuff with it. But if you go and look at... Let's see if I can find one of them. Oh. Separate thing. I wish I could do this a little more streamlined, but a lot of this stuff is as you find it, because a lot of this is random. So this is the solar panel fragment. Seems to be missing the texture on it. That's fine. So if I right-click, scan it. On the top right, it says 50%, 1 of 2. So we need to find one more solar panel fragment before we can build solar panels. Alright, let me see if I can find something dangerous. And you can scan not quite everything, but a lot of things at this point. Oh, there we go. That's something dangerous. But let me get some oxygen first, because I'm running low. Alright, I'm going to do my best not to get killed doing this, or injured too badly either. These guys are pretty darn quick. Alright, stop swimming away, stop swimming away. Nope, you just ate the peeper. This is a stalker. Whoa! Guys are terrifying. So these guys, you want to swim left to right a lot, because they are darn quick. And they tend to go after and play with the titanium. So right now I'm just holding down the right button, the right mouse button, while I'm swimming after him to get a full scan. Alright, there we go. We've got a full scan. Now I'm going to surface. Hopefully he's not chasing me. Oh, and there's another piece of a fragment down there, so I'm going to go and grab that real quick. First, I'm going to open this up. If we open up fauna, carnivores, and now we have stalker. And it gives you a little information on their threat level, how dangerous they are. So this one's, you know, lower medium threat level. There's no, you know, actual real gauge for this, but this tells you that he is dangerous and he's going to try and eat you. Gives you information on, you know, where they live, what they do, how smart they are, things like that. Assessment, coerce or avoid? Yeah, definitely avoid. You can make one kind of your pet if you give him a peeper. That's nothing I've ever done, just because I haven't found any real use for it. It's easier just to go and do that stuff yourself. Alright, I think that's another fragment. There's a bunch of them around here. Sea glide, there we go. If you heard him, he just did that growl. Oh! Alright, that's a Stalker Tooth. I grabbed that real quick. The Stalker Tooths are made in enameled glass, and they drop them randomly, mostly from playing with the titanium. They'll break them. Alright, another... Oh, that's a sea moth fragment. So, especially when you're starting out, you want to... sorry, those guys are terrifying. You want to grab and scan every fragment that you can. Later on, like Jesus! These guys are going to give me a heart attack. What was I saying? Yeah, later on, as after you get more recipes, like the solar panel fragment that I got first, after I get the next one and I have the full fragment analyzed, if I scan any more after that, then you just get titanium at the moment. You get 2 titanium for all of that you scan. Okay. I think now's a good time to talk about health kits. So right now I'm at 40% health. So if I go to personnel, equipment, and then first aid kit, I need bleach and a fiber mesh. So I can make a fiber mesh out of the creep vine. I think I already have one. So I want to use that. And then what was the other one? I need bleach. For that I need salt and table coral, right? Yep, salt and common coral. Never mind. How much space do I have? Not much. So we're gonna make that tool real quick. What we went down there for is the dive reel. Again, feel free to make notes because there's a lot of stuff where it's really easy to get distracted on. Alright, so now we have a dive reel, and I'm gonna change around my quick slots. I'm gonna put the scanner in 2, builder in 3, and then the dive reel in 4. You just type the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, or 5. Alright, so we've got the dive reel now, the Stalker Tooth that we grabbed a minute ago, and something else we needed. I'm getting distracted. Habitat. I've completely lost track of what we were building. deployables. I cannot remember what we were building. But you know what? That's probably enough for this particular episode. I'm going to continue on right after this and put up film another episode, so that should be up there about the same time you see this one. So yeah, after this, I think we'll go and start building the very basics of our base, and I'll go back through and watch the end of this video again to see what I was missing to do that next. But yeah, after this, we should be able to go through and start building the beginning of our base. Alright, well, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, see ya!